And Married with Channels podcast, a husband and a wife talking about TV shows. Oh my God.
And sometimes movies.
And sometimes movies. Yeah, no movies this week.
Nope.
Just one show and one what the kids are watching. Right, Jody?
Yep.
Wife?
Yeah, it feels like we haven't had a lot of TV time lately. It's been a little busyness going on here.
Well, we've been watching the Good Girls.
Yep.
Enjoying
some
that.
of those ongoing things. Sure.
Yeah. Mr. In Between.
Yep.
This week we're talking about a show that we started a few years ago. This is before the podcast.
Yeah.
And I think we got through episode 2, 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 4, which is where we're at now. And it's called The Knick, which was originally on Cinemax. It's now on HBO Max.
Way back in 2014.
Yeah.
So.
7 years ago?
Whoa.
I know, right? They probably filmed it 8 years ago.
Oh, my.
For the most part.
Stop it.
Yeah, and it ran for 2 seasons. And basically, if you are a turn-of-the-century medical freak, you will love this show. Because it's set in the Knickerbocker Hospital in New York in the year 1900, right?
I think that's what we found out, yeah.
And Clive Owen plays the flawed but brilliant, which is like every other main lead protagonist description anymore. Flawed but brilliant, fill in the blank.
Sure.
Doctor.
Like you need him, but you can't stand him.
Yeah, he's a prick and or drug addict or both. But god damn, he's a brilliant surgeon or brake repairman or ombudsman or city comptroller.
He's very good in this role, Clive Owen is.
Yeah, and it wasn't until like episode 2 I realized, he's doing an American accent.
Oh, yeah, I kind of forget about that sometimes.
Yeah.
That means they do it very well, in my opinion. If I forget that you are British, then you're doing something right. You
are doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so The Knick, HBO Max. We're about 4 episodes into it, and it's a Steven Soderbergh joint. I know he's directed the first 3 or 4 episodes, and I like the show. I'm fascinated by I love seeing like how the world is changing and like the Industrial Revolution is not quite up to speed, but along parallel, running concurrently to that is not only the steel industry, shipping, whatever, but science.
Yes.
And medicine.
Definitely medicine, yeah. These guys are pioneering surgery, and it doesn't always work out, and they are taking risks by trying things and, trying to get those answers, but kind of on real life patients. Yeah.
And you see some of the struggles that they go through with, funding. And Christ, this show, like the second episode, they just get like electricity wired into the place.
Yeah, into the hospital.
Can you imagine doing anything, let alone delicate surgery?
By lamplight.
Yeah. Crazy.
No way. That is crazy.
Impossible. I mean, that's a testament
it's
to how...
possible, but...
I'm sure, yeah. It's a testament to how good a surgeon he and Dr. Edwards are.
Yeah.
That they are able to do that. Excuse me.
It's fun you mentioned this science, like, they have like a fancy dinner party, and Thomas Edison is there.
Yeah.
And brings a recording device to record someone's voice and then play it back, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, the old wax cylinder.
Yeah. And, there's a scene in, I think, the last episode that we watched where the vacuum is just being invented, like suction and the vacuum.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Like,
funny. And Edwards is, he sees potential in that as being like suction for blood and surgery.
I found it so hilarious that it was typical vacuum salesperson demonstration. Like he put some dust on the desk and then vacuumed it up like a live vacuuming demonstration. I thought that was great.
Well, they still do that.
I know.
They put the wood chips or the wood sawdust down and...
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see it on carpet cleaner commercials on TV and
all the time.
Yeah. So,
and it has that perfect line.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, that thing is brilliant.
Yes.
So you got Clive Owen in here. You got, I think his name is Andre Holland, who we watched in that god-awful Hulu Stephen King Castle Rock show.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah.
And you got Eve Hewson, who's Bono's daughter. Yes, that Bono from U2. She's actually okay.
I like her in this.
She's not bad. She's pulling off that Kentucky accent pretty well for an Irish gal.
Yeah.
So, the Knick.
Do you also recognize Cornelia Robertson? Robertson is the character? Cornelia Robertson, played by Juliette Rylance. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, from, we talked about this, Perry Mason.
Yes.
The new Perry Mason show.
Yep. She plays Della Street in Perry Mason, which we have watched and talked about on this podcast.
It's funny, working in voiceover, I immediately hear somebody's voice like, oh, they have a good voice. Like, she has a good voice.
Yes.
I notice it more in the Perry Mason show than I do in this one. But also, Andre Holland, he's got a great voice, too.
Yes. Yeah. I love that this is historical and set in New York as well. Mm-hmm. And you have kind of some other themes going on, too. We talked to, and I'll maybe expand upon it after we play our audio clip, but it kind of addresses some racism in this show. It addresses the differences in social classes for people as well. Social economical classes.
Yeah, and how the rich look down on the poor for the most part, and how if you have syphilis, well, you must be a poor vagrant or immigrant who just came off the boat.
Typhoid.
And it's typhoid, and it's interesting because have we progressed that much since then?
I know, right? Well, and we can circle back to some of those themes, but it's interesting.
It's frustrating too because you wonder how much of this actually went on. Here's a clip from this is when Andre Holland's character, who's black, is a brilliant surgeon. He co-authored the paper in France that they are doing this operation by, but he's still told to just not participate, but just to coach them through, walk the main guy or one of the guys through it.
Yes, they are holding him back from any opportunity, and he is very smart and very, very well respected by the family that is funding the hospital.
Yeah. But in this clip, they're operating on a patient, and they're using the procedure from the book that he co-authored. Again, they're not letting him participate. But he turns the tables on them so that he has to get in to actually get into surgery. One of the other surgeons who hates him.
That was a very suspenseful scene for me. I was like, no, don't let this person die on the table.
I know, it turned into like a standoff.
Oh my gosh. I was like not breathing myself.
Who's going to break first? Here's, this is the dickhead doctor who doesn't like Dr. Edwards, the black doctor.
Yes.
Pissed off.
We don't have time for your games.
God. And he just flat out says the N-word there. And so here's Clive Owen's character, the head surgeon. So Dr. Edwards finally scrubs in. He's getting into the surgery. And this is after a couple minutes of a standoff. And Clive Owen says, you screw this up.
If he dies because of your horse shit, I am going to stab you in the throat with my father's Union Army sword.
Union? Would have thought Confederate.
He has at least a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so frustrating. Like, that's the head surgeon still. He knows Dr. Edwards is a brilliant surgeon, well-trained, authored papers, come up with innovative ways, and he still can't allow him to be a peer.
Well, and some of that may not be because of his race. Like, Dr. Thackeray just kind of thinks he's kind of God,
Yeah,
he has kind of that God doctor complex.
What, a doctor doing that?
Yeah,
what?
There are some. Sorry,
and then after the surgery's a success, everybody's calmed down, and the dickhead doctor asks Dr. Edwards.
So I suppose we won't be needing your expertise any longer.
I suppose not.
Gallinger!
Punches him in the face.
Idiot. Surgeon needs his hands.
He says, idiot, surgeon needs his hands.
Yeah.
Like, you expect him to say, don't punch him. That's not right. You can't do that. It's like, no, I don't want you to hurt your hands.
Yeah.
What a prick.
Yep. And so I wanted to kind of circle back to, there's some racism in this show. And we were kind of talking about this amongst ourselves. Like, this is New York, kind of the melting pot. There are people immigrating there all the time. And yet there's racism. And I think historically, I maybe naively thought, like, well, it's the North. They're the good guys. They're anti-slavery. They're
in the Union.
Yeah, they're accepting of
They were fighting
people
the
of color, and maybe there was still racism even though they were anti-slavery.
From what I understand, like, people didn't like the Italians getting off the boats, the Jews getting off the boats.
Mm-hmm. The Irish.
Yeah, there was no shortage of racism back then.
I guess.
Not just toward black folk, but all folks who weren't light-skinned, I guess.
Sure.
And, but yeah, The Knick is a good show.
It is.
I'm curious to see, I wonder why we stopped watching it.
I think it was one of those, we didn't have that channel anymore.
Oh, maybe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, you should definitely check out The Knick. It's a good show. If you're into period pieces, you'll probably like this. And if you're into medical dramas, you'll probably like it.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any real, there's no, it's definitely not Grey's Anatomy. There's no, grab-assing going on or people screwing around in the prescription closet,
No, but, there are a few interesting characters. I'll say that.
Yeah, the Cleary dude.
Yeah.
The big Irish ambulance driver.
Yeah, he's a little odd.
I get a little tired of his accent.
Yeah, I had a hard time understanding him. I needed captions for that sometimes, so there's that. But
also with him,
yeah,
and I don't know if this is a spoiler, but so he catches one of the sisters from the hospital administering. She does abortions on the side.
Yes.
And he catches her doing it one day, and then later on, a few days later, he confronts her and says, "I want 60% of it. I don't agree with what you're doing." Killing God's children, da-da-da-da-da.
You mean after that young lady passed?
Well, hold on, I'm getting there.
Oh.
I went 60-40, and
Yeah.
she has to do it, because otherwise he's going to rat her out and ruin her, because she's a nun.
Yeah.
But then later on, after the woman who you just mentioned dies,
Yeah.
because she did a self-administered back alley abortion,
Yeah.
bled out, he says, "I don't agree with what you're doing, but I'm going to bring you, if I find women who need this, I'll bring them to you."
Sure.
So I don't reconcile the two. Those don't reconcile for me.
So he's an opportunist. You see him steal jewelry off of dead bodies. He's an opportunist for himself.
Well, he didn't steal it off. He took it off and then he gave it to her in the
But
grave.
the other guy, he took his ring.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he'll do anything for some money, I think. But I think he is trying to be a good person in this case.
Okay.
He doesn't want to see that happen to anybody else, so he might as well. And it kind of helps himself, too, because he's going to get 60% of the cut,
Yeah.
But then he can feel like maybe he's helping,
I don't know why he would. You think there'd be a different way
I don't know.
for him to be good?
I think he's
to
got
help.
it. Well, I don't know. I think he's just out to make some money, too.
But he's already making the money. He's already got that 60-40 split.
That death of that girl touched him in a way that,
So
upset him. He watched from the surgery suite, remember?
yeah.
And then when it didn't go right, he kind of stomped off, like he was really upset by it. So
Okay.
And he was obviously moved by it, and he didn't pocket the necklace. He gave it to the nun.
Yeah.
And he was kind enough to go to the cemetery where she was being buried to have the nun say a few words, because this girl didn't have anybody. She was fresh off the boat,
Maybe we'll see a redemption of Old Clary.
Maybe. I don't know. I want to know what his shady business with dead bodies is. He and that other guy.
Well, there's apparently dead bodies are hard to come by. So
Yeah, but why do people want them?
for pathological reasons, pathology.
Oh.
That's what I got out of it. Is the hospital needs, because Clive Owen's character, Dr. Thackeray,
Yeah.
is telling these administrator, or who's the guy with
I don't know.
got his tooth
yeah,
ripped
he's
out?
like an accountant
But
or
he's like-
something.
I think he's like the head of the hospital,
Yeah,
but
kind of.
Robertson is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're trying to, because Clive Owen keeps telling, that head of the hospital guy, I need bodies. And he's like, you got pigs.
Yeah.
We got pigs for that, but I need bodies.
Yeah.
So I
But-
don't know.
I mean, isn't someone going to notice if a bunch of dead bodies go missing from the hospital? And like,
Well, the one woman didn't.
well, I guess, yeah.
Just burned up the pig bodies
Yeah.
and gave her those ashes.
Yeah, I guess if you, do the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy indeed.
Probably
Knick.
smelled like breakfast.
The Knick on HBO Max. Make sure you check it out. He's a
Yeah.
good. We'll get to, let's do what the kids are watching.
Okay.
But first, you found
Yeah.
this thing with honey.
Oh my gosh. So it's summer. We've been wanting to try camping, and our child has asked us to put the tent up in the yard and let her sleep in the backyard to try it out. And I'm like, okay. She won't last like 5 minutes out there. Like, she'll hear the first cricket and be like, I heard a bug. I need to come inside. So I found on the daily deals today on the Honey app this pop-up portable elevated camping cot. It is like a cot with its own private tent around it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like, I'm getting to the age where
Let me see.
I don't want to sleep on an air mattress on the ground just so my kid can have a backyard camping fun night, So this is my kind of glamping.
I know you're elevated off the floor, the ground. It's probably comfortable.
It looks like it has like a cute little mattress, and the bugs will leave you alone because you're in your own little private tent.
And it's like 20% off when you use the honey plug-in.
Yeah,
So that's pretty cool. Maybe we should get that.
I know.
The little one might actually get out on the tent. Or is that going to be like, are we nurturing that kind of scared, pensive behavior?
I don't know. I'm still scared and pensive of the outdoors. Like, I love to be in the outdoors, but I don't love the outdoors. Okay.
So you love the indoors. That's what that means.
No, I like the scenery. I just don't like bugs, critters, snakes, you name it.
Yeah, get the honey plug-in, and you can save 20% on that elevated campers. You can glamp in style. Be like one of the 17 million other glampers out there that use the honey plug-in, saving $2 billion in savings. If you don't already have honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. And it's free. Installs in a few seconds. Get honey for free at joinhoney.com/married. That's joinhoney.com/married. And it helps us out. That's always good.
Yeah.
Moving on to what the kids are watching.
Yeah.
Evie just finished, our 9-year-old,
Yeah.
soon to be 10, Jesus. Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events
Yes.
with Jim Carrey.
Yes. Did you watch any of it with her?
I saw a couple quick scenes,
Yeah.
and it looks cool.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
Just a few scenes here and there. I just kind of checked in a little bit.
I remember seeing the poster and the trailer for it back when this came out,
Yeah.
2004. And Jim Carrey and the makeup, I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I saw a
Okay.
couple of the scenes while she was watching. I was like, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah.
There's a lot of names in it. A lot of familiar names. A lot of people in it.
Wow, that set design, that art direction is something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
Like I said, just the scene here or there. Like, I saw that particular scene that you're looking at a photo of now. And
Oh, Meryl Streep.
yeah, Meryl Streep was in it. And yeah, Jim Carrey, of course. There's a lot of people in it.
Did she like it?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, she said she did. So.
It's got Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
He is Scottish as Scottish can be. Yeah, I mean, I'm thumbing through some of the pictures here, and it does look like a wistful art infused movie.
Yeah.
But that does not a movie great make. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out.
I mean, it didn't give her nightmares. She didn't hate it and give up on it. So,
Leave a comment on whether or not Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events is any good. Maybe mommy and daddy will check it out. But so she's watching that. She's actually wants to watch the series that's on Netflix with what's his name?
Yeah.
Doogie Howser.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris, yeah. And I looked at him in the makeup. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really am digging on Neil Patrick Harris in this role that Jim Carrey made. How do you go from Jim Carrey to Neil Patrick Harris? Nothing against Neil Patrick Harris. He's a fine actor.
Well, maybe Jim Carrey's not available.
Or he's not going to do TV because he's Jim Carrey. You know, he does that one show. All right. Anything else? Milady?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So go check out The Knick on HBO Max. Next week, I think we'll have, we'll look at Loki.
Yeah.
That looks interesting.
Yeah, we need to find some other stuff. Maybe if you guys got something you want us to check out, please feel free to send us a message, tweet at us. What's our Twitter handle?
At Married W Chans. CHANNS. CHANNS. There we go.
Okay.
So that's the Twitter account. Yeah, let us know if there's a show you want us to check out. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
And get back to you on the Married with Channels podcast. Every week on your podcast provider, give us a good review, a good rating. Appreciate that. Like us, comment, reach out.
Tell your friends.
Send us some chocolate grams.
Ooh, yeah.
Tell your friends, yeah. Until next time, I'm Moose.
And I'm Jody.
Later.